Hello everyone, welcome to GS4. I am Krishna Gupta and this is the One Day One Answer, a daily answer writing initiative. So here what we will be discussing today, a particular topic in geography with respect to the migration. So we will be starting directly with the question part here. So in the One Day One Answer, today's topic is one of the question which is basically from geography from the year of 2024. So here we can see, why do large cities tend to attract more migrants than smaller towns? Okay, so here we have the first K term, the larger cities, and the tail word is the smaller towns. This is the tail word, that is the smaller towns. Discuss in light of conditions in the developing countries. Okay, so we need to discuss this in light of the various developing countries of the world. So what we are seeing here today, there is a migration is taking place. Okay, so migration, this is majorly taking place where the migration is taking place from the small towns and it is to the urban cities. Okay, the migration is basically taking place from the small towns to urban cities. Now this is not just a sphere, there is a very larger sphere where we are seeing that there are various larger number of smaller towns from where the migration is taking place towards the urban cities. So this condition is being highlighted by the report of World Development in the 2023 report, which highlights the migration is often a result of various kind of opportunities in terms of jobs, better living standards, access to healthcare, access to education in urban centers. And here what we are saying that the majority of the developing countries have seen a surge in urban migration. So here we are talking basically about the developing countries, which in the recent times, in the last 5 to 10 years, they have seen a surge in migration, which is taking place in this pattern. That is the smaller towns. The people are getting migrated towards the larger urban centers. For example, if we take a case study here right now, so we can see Mumbai, we can see New Delhi, we can see Bangalore, we can see Kolkata, we can see Chennai, we can see Hyderabad. So these are the larger urban centers from where the migration is taking place from the nearby districts or nearby blocks, which are smaller comparatively to the Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Bangalore, and the other important cities or the big cities of the contemporary time. So, this migration pattern, which we saw in the case study of India, where the migration is taking place from the smaller towns towards the larger cities, this is basically also seen in the other countries like Brazil, Mexico, African countries, then Southeast Asian countries. Okay, so these are the other countries which are looking at the similar kind of migration trend in the contemporary time. So because of these conditions, what we are seeing that there is a surge in the urban cities. There is a swelling of urban centers and there is shrinking of smaller towns. There is shrinking of smaller towns. So this is the basic, we can say the fundamental part, which is quite important here to understand that why this is taking place. That what is happening in the contemporary time, what is happening in this contemporary time period. But if you look at the causes, that why this is happening, so I'll be taking it under the concepts that what are the basic causes of migration. Why the people, why students, or why the young people, the college graduates, okay, or the college graduates or the people who are working in an unorganized sector. Why they are moving towards the urban center? So we will look into the causes right now here. So we see that there are basic, if we talk about the causes, there are two types of major causes. One is the push factor for migration and another is the pull factor. The push factor for migration and the pull factor for migration, which is the two basic factor. This is being provided by the Ravenstein. This is the Ravenstein. This is a part of the Ravenstein model, the law of migration, which is taking place over the world. So this is taking place on the basis of the push factor and the pull factor. First important thing is the economic opportunities. First important thing is the economic opportunities. Larger cities have higher variety of opportunities. Okay, the larger cities, they have variety of opportunities in comparison to the smaller towns, where the opportunities are basically in terms of the farming sector or the industries which are related to the farming sector or the agro processing based industries, or there can be industries which are confined to those particular regions on the basis of the availability of the raw materials. So here we see that because of the availability of industry, service industry, the formal labors and the informal labors, they are basically moving towards the urban centers as the migrant city. So here in the developing countries also, we have found that the urban areas, they have most robust economic activities, including better wages and chances of the upward mobility in the social strata. So here the examples we have seen from India like Mumbai, or we can see Bangalore. If we go to the other cities like Lagos, which is in Nigeria, which attracts millions of migrants which are seeking for jobs in factories, construction sites, or other informal sectors of the economy due to the concentration of economy in the urban sectors. So this here we are seeing that there is concentration of economic activities. The concentration of the economic activities which is taking place in this region, it is resulting into the better economic opportunities. Now, next thing we see here that there is better infrastructure, plus services. The better infrastructure and services in terms of public services, in terms of infrastructure, we see that the urban cities, they have better transportation development, better water facilities available, better sanitation management, better waste pollution disposal, or better availability of public spaces. For example, case study Delhi only, there is high availability of public parks. So here what we are saying that the availability of services is also good, the infrastructure is also good, plus the availability of urban services, the government facilities is also very high in terms of education, healthcare sector, transportation, and even housing for the informal people or the informal sector. So here what we see that because of this condition, we see the migration is taking place to the large cities from the small towns. Okay, from the small towns it is taking place major to the large cities. So here we see the examples of Mexico, then Brazil, then Sub-Saharan Africa or Sahel region of Africa, where the migration is taking place in all these developing countries in the contemporary times. Now, next important thing what we see that the population is limited in the villages or smaller towns, but the social network and the increased number of population is very high in the urban cities. So that is the social network. This social network, it is acting as a social capital. this social network, it is acting as a social capital. So what we have seen that because of the increased number of communities, increased number of we can say the social networks, the migrant communities are also available here. Various migrant communities are also available here. For example, if we take an example here, if a person is working in a very prestigious organization in a formal setup or an informal setup, we can say. So, if there is an opportunity which has to be filled up, so that person, if he gets an opportunity to bring someone from his own town, so he will give the first opportunity to the person who is available in the smaller town of his own relative who is in his social circle or who is in his social network. So he will get the first priority to come to the city and get the opportunity to join the job. So here we can see that the concept of the social network or the social capital or the presence of the communities or the migrant communities, they are providing the social support to the migrants so that they can easily find jobs, housing and adjust to the urban lifestyle in a very easily manner. This is very easily seen. This is very easily seen in the region of Mexico, also seen in Latin American countries and other countries of the world. And other countries of the world. Okay. Apart from this, what we see that there is urbanization and modernization. There is urbanization and modernization. When we talk about the urbanization, it is the part of the geographical part and also the part of the societal part here. Okay, modernization is also a concept of the societal concept. So here in the developing countries, the large cities, they often symbolize the modernization and access to the globalized economy. Here what we see that the urban centers of the large cities, they are able to provide access to modern amenities, entertainment, consumer goods, which create an aspirational pull factor. Okay, we have talked about the pull factor here. So the urbanization and modern lifestyle, it is providing basically a pull factor here to the migrants. So here the urban culture is a sharp contrast to the rural culture or a small town culture or life, which is contributing to the migration trend in the contemporary time. So here we see that there is cultural part and social aspects. It is one of the important trend which is also resulting into the migration of people from small town to the larger cities. Next important factor we see here that there are various policy and investment focus interventions. There are various policy and investments. Now, when we talk about the policy and investment, we see that the majority of the investment, it is being made in the cities like Mumbai or Delhi, or we can see the tier 2 cities which are growing right now, for example, Indore, so example Surat, Vadodara. So these are the important industrial hubs where we are seeing that the major economic development is taking place. So because of the better economic development, the foreign investment is being done directly into the cities. Often it is resulting into a disproportionate investment from larger cities and the smaller towns. And this is resulting into the stark contrast on the availability of employment in the larger cities and the smaller towns, which is resulting into the movement of the people and making the life of people who are living in those urban centers as better and standardized more. So here more innovation is done, more research has been done, more infrastructure development is done, and therefore it is enhancing the attractiveness of the people who are living in the surrounding regions and leading to the migration of people from the small towns to the large cities. Okay, so here this is the factor of innovation, investments, or foreign direct investments, or we can say that the research and development, or we can say the availability of amenities. It is resulting into the migration of people into the large cities. So what prospect we see here, that in the coming time, what we are seeing in the developing country, the urbanization rate in India currently it is 35% in the year of 2020 to 2023. But it is projected that by the year of 2050, the urbanization rate in India it will cross 50. Why it will cross 50? Because the people are migrating more towards the urban areas. They are looking more to forward to the urban areas for the education purpose, for the employment purpose, or for the better standard of living purposes. So here, within the country, the people are getting migrated from the local town or the small towns or the villages or rural areas to the urban centers, so that they can have a better infrastructure, they can enjoy better facilities, they can live a life which is quite modern, they can have a better social network. So all these things they are providing a condition which is being providing a basic pull factor, which is providing here basic a pull factor, which is providing a conducive conditions for the people to migrate to the large cities and the large urban centers of the world. Okay, so this is the question, this is the part of the one day one answer. So guys, try to uh, write the answer. So see you in the mentorship session. Thank you very much.